And then you started modeling and also studying on the university to become a dietitian and a nutrition expert. That was a parallel life. And then you found yourself probably in one of the worst marriages ever in the world, right? How come?
You know, I don't think it's the worst in the world. That's why I didn't think it was that important, because I survived, and my children survived. So for many women, they are in worse relationships than that, and they don't survive, or they are very badly mutilated. So I did think that it was a horror to be in that marriage. But when I ran away, I was terrified, because he'd made many threats should I ever leave him. So and then I got a restraining order so that he couldn't come near me, and I can't believe he followed the law on that. And then I had 9 years of lawsuits. He kept on suing me for being a bad mother. So that you have to put up with when you leave an abusive marriage. And then, but the thing is, even if you're continually in lawsuits, at least you're not being beaten up at the same time. So I always felt like I had an advantage there, that I only had to put up with the nastiness, you know, in writing and then in the court case.
You openly wrote about your marriage in your book. It is a chapter dedicated to your marriage. Tell me about that moment when you decided this is the final. I won't do this anymore.
Well, the thing is, I was taking my children for the holidays just to the coast, and as I packed them in, he started screaming at me and threatening me. And then I took them to the coast and I said, I'm not returning. Why should I return? It's hell every time I return. And I just sued for divorce right away. And I think he couldn't believe it. But I said, well, I cannot live this way anymore. It is hell. And I have to get out of it. And I did. And it was hard. And he was meant to pay some maintenance and he wouldn't. And then I had some savings and he withdrew the savings. So I didn't have that either. And, you know, that was still better than being with him. That you never go to dinner. You can get secondhand clothes for the school uniforms. You can get secondhand books for the school. Public schools are not expensive in South Africa. And I mean, we lived on bean stew and cereal and milk and bread, and the brown bread was subsidized by the government, and fruits and vegetables, whatever is the least expensive. And then and I made bean stews. I made a lot of bean dishes. And then it took about 6 months before I can actually buy a chicken, and we could have a chicken on a Friday night. I would say, I've earned enough this week, I can buy a chicken, and we can add that to the meal. But my children never complained. And I was so relieved to be away from fear 24 hours a day. I was living in fear of him still, but it wasn't right near me. It wasn't in my home. So that is the difference. But you're very scared. You don't have any confidence, and you have to get out and act like you have confidence. And it's hard. And that's what, so women in Turkey, they need to leave. You see, my parents would have helped me, and my brothers and my twin sisters said, when they read my book, they had no idea what I went through. They said, we would have looked after you. And I never went to them. So I could have gone to them, and I could have gone to friends, but I didn't. I thought I need to take responsibility for myself. However, maybe in Turkey, the woman can go to family or friends to run away to them so that they can live without fear. I don't know what it is like in your country.
No, it's the same actually, because most of the time these girls are forced to marry these men with their families, I mean from their families. The dads or the moms force them to get married to these men, or they either run away from the family to these husbands, and they can't go back. So it's not easy for Turkish women to get out of this very horrible marriages, and they also have to survive on the husband's salary most of the time. They're not into working life. It's really difficult in here, but still what you have done